and welcome. I am Kalpana Singhal, Editor-in-Chief Tech Plus Media, and we have Adrian Soe Myint, CEO of VillageLink, as our guest today. Adrian is a chemical engineer graduate with specialization in prediction analytics and data modeling, CEO of VillageLink, an award-winning Agritech startup in Southeast Asia. Before VillageLink, he was the Chief Digital Officer for the largest agriculture group of companies in Myanmar, heading several digital transformation projects for the group. With great passion to solve farming problems, Adrian and the team at VillageLink is fully committed to empowering all stakeholders in the agriculture value chain by promoting sustainable farming practices and optimizing productivity through digital solutions. Hello and a warm welcome to you, Adrian.
Hello, Kalpana. Nice to meet you.
Same here. So agriculture sector has been plagued by a multitude of problems starting from sowing, harvesting, storage, supply chain till marketing. How has COVID-19 complicated the already complex scenario for farmers?
Yes, so the farmers in Myanmar, even before COVID, faced many of these issues that you have mentioned, regarding the supply chain. And one of the biggest issue is also access to, the financial instruments or the capital they need to invest in farming, and also the farming knowledge, right? It's pretty much very limited in the country. So all of these are contributing to very low productivity, which in turns keep them, under the poverty for a very, very long time. And COVID had made things worse because now farmers are getting it harder to find, the advisory or the extension services they need, because the employees of, the Department of Agriculture, as well as the market actors, can no longer visit farmers to diagnose the farm problems. And not just that, there are certain instances where we have border closures because of, countries like China wants to limit the transmission of COVID-19 from Myanmar back into China. So all these restrictions pretty much put a lot of goods on hold at the border, which, puts a lot of stress on farmers because they can't export these crops anymore, especially crops that are perishable. So there are the situation, COVID situation is actually impacting a lot of farmers who are depending on the external market for their livelihood. But not to say that there are also opportunities, because the local demand for certain commodities has increased significantly because we need to stockpile the goods, because of uncertainties. But overall, the impact is there. Certain farmers suffer more than the other, and that's what VillageLink wants to do. We want to help these people be able to produce better, given the situation.
Yeah. So what is the role of technology do you see in addressing these challenges in agriculture?
So as I mentioned earlier, if the extension workers cannot visit the farms anymore, somebody has to help the farmers understand what problem they are facing and how to treat that problem. And technology addresses this by allowing them to ask questions remotely to agriculture experts and professionals, right? So instead of waiting for somebody to come and visit your farm, you can just take a picture of the symptoms of your crops, or just type a question and send it over to a team of agronomists at VillageLink, and we help look at these problems and recommend the farmers, the best solution that they can take to address the issue that they are facing at hand. And not only technology solves the problem, but it also solves the problem much more effectively and at a much scalable manner, because in a given day, the farmer can ask multiple questions. He can get the responses on demand. He can search for the answers at any time, that he wants, and he can do it cheaply, right, without having any physical human contact with anybody.
Yeah. So how is VillageLink enabling agricultural and rural communities with the use of mobile technology? And if you can talk about your business model.
Sure. So many farming communities in Myanmar have access to internet as well as smartphones. Because when the country opened up, we actually leapfrogged in terms of technology adoption. So people from having no phones at all, they straight away adopted smartphones. The first form of communications that they are exposed to is actually, internet communications. A lot of farmers use social media. They know how to use instant messages like Viber, Messenger, and so on. So that gives us a very unique opportunity to leverage this platform to help them and connect them to market actors, connect them to professionals, products, and services. So with that, we founded VillageLink, where we built mobile applications specifically for farmers. The app is called Tratto, which in our language means higher yield. And the app connects farmers to, agricultural professionals, products, information, and services so that they can get all these solutions on time and on demand to address the problems at hand. And it's much easier than you going out and looking for help, because here, without leaving your farm, without losing focus on attending the farming matters, you can actually just sign into our app and ask any questions relating to agriculture or to your farming problems. And we actually have a dedicated team of agronomists that monitors these queries from farmers and provide them the solution they need. The way that we monetize, of course, the service is free for use for farmers. They don't need to pay a single cent. But we work on a B2B arrangement where we work with agribusinesses, development agency, INGOs. These companies are actually looking at media to reach, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people instantaneously with, their promotions, their campaigns, their projects. And our platform actually, it's a perfect place for them to tap into, because we have already gathered hundreds of thousands of farmers in Myanmar, and it gives them very easy digital access to the rural population. So instead of spending, so much money on traditional marketing, which comes with a lot of limitations and physical barriers, by going into our platform, you can actually reach your target audience much more effectively and at scale. So this is the value proposition that we offer to the businesses, and that's how we've been making money.
Yeah. So that's interesting. So what made you start with VillageLink? What was the inspiration that you had to start a brand like VillageLink?
Yeah. So as I mentioned earlier, before VillageLink, we were with Myanmar Oba Group, the largest agricultural group of companies. They actually have a Facebook page where they communicate, the corporate activities. But to their surprise, they actually find that there are a lot of inquiries from farmers, who wants to know how to adopt better farming methods, who wants to know more about how to solve, the problem that they are facing. So that gave us an idea that, hey, if we can create a dedicated channel where they will be able to find, all the information and solutions they need, that will be a great help, to the smallholders in Myanmar. And with that, we founded VillageLink and introduced this idea of providing them with, at first with information services. But now that we have a lot of information contents in our platform, we're gradually evolving the app into a more holistic farming service, where not just information, but you'll also be able to find products like input products, and also services like financial services and so on.
Okay, so it includes financial services also.
Yes.
Okay, so I mean, you have banks as the partners or fintechs as the partner. Of how did you get into providing the financial services?
Yeah, so we ourselves are not a financial service company, so we work with financial institutions to deliver the services. One of the company that we're working with is actually Maha, which is also under the Myanmar Oba Group. So they're basically our sister company, and we've been exploring many digital financial services with them because they have the technical expertise for financial products. and we have the technical expertise for developing digital platforms. Both companies are working hand in hand to introduce innovative, financial services for smallholders.
Yeah. So reaching out to the rural parts is always a challenge. So how did you meet that challenge, creating that awareness among the farmers, the community that there's an app which can actually help them? So how did
Yeah.
you manage to do that?
So we rely on two main ways of creating awareness for farmers. One is, of course, through social media. As I mentioned earlier, farmers are quite active on social media, and it's one of the easiest and most scalable way to reach out to them. Of course, being able to use social media doesn't mean that they know how to download the app and install it, because most of the time, farmers will have these apps pre-installed, in the phones that they purchase, and somebody else from the phone store would have helped them set up the account. So there is still a very big barrier in terms of adoption for people that we onboard through social media. Secondly, in a much more effective way of onboarding is working with partners. And that's very important because, in Myanmar, not just in Myanmar, in any country, there are many different organizations, both private and public and non-government, that are engaging directly with farmers. They already have a reach in terms of their own rural networks, right? Because of their core business or core activities. So these partners are how you want to disseminate the app. So, for example, we work with an agribusiness where they have a market share of half of the farming population, entire farming population in Myanmar. Through their extension network, we can share the app and train their customers how to use the application. We also used to work with government agencies because the government, amongst the public sector, they have the most number of extension service team in the country. So tapping into their network allow us to reach hundreds of thousands of farmers in a year, and their staff have been sharing our app and training the farmers how to use the application.
Yeah. So that's quite interesting. So, okay, farm revenues are highly dependent on external factors like weather, insect invasion, or lower market prices. How these solutions from Village Link are ensuring higher revenues for farmers?
Very, very good question. So, the behavior of farmers in Myanmar previously, they are very superstitious. They follow lunar calendar, for their cropping patterns, right? So they look at the moon and the full moon, and they would say, this is the day that we should start planting, which is very unscientific. But then it worked, in the past because the weather patterns were pretty much consistent up until 6-7 years ago, when we have drastic changes in the weather because of climate change. So now it is no longer the case. There are instances where we have very much late rain in certain parts. So farmers missed out, on the rain opportunity. And there are times when we have early rain, which would have destroyed early stages of crop. So what VillageLink is doing is, we have satellite models that looks at historical weather patterns, as well as predict weather conditions, not just for the weekly weather forecast, but also we have capabilities to do seasonal outlooks. We can tell when a particular area is going to be receiving rain, how much of it, compared to previous years, and so on. These kind of estimations are very important for farmers to grow, crops in an optimal condition. So what we do is that based on the farmer's location, that we collect from our app, the crop that he is growing, and also the predictions from the satellite data, we generate these automatically curated advisory messages to farmers, informing them about the best conditions for them to do certain farming activities. So, for example, if we see that a farmer is in a stage, of applying a fertilizer for his plant, but we see that his weather conditions are not favorable for applying fertilizer because it will be a waste, then that farmer will automatically receive a message in the app that tells him, hey, look, you are going to apply fertilizer soon. Please delay for 1 or 2 days because today it's going to rain heavily and all your fertilizer will be wasted. So why not wait 1 day and then apply tomorrow when the window of opportunity is much, much better. So these kind of contextualized advisory services are really helping farmers improve their climate resiliency. They are no longer playing a guessing game. They're taking a scientific and actionable approach to mitigating the effects of weather on their crops, which in turns at the end of the season returns them with much higher yield because they can cut down the losses, right? And also, of course, the window of opportunities are very crucial for them to take advantage, for them to use less resources and at the same time produce more. And at the end of the season, this actually helps them generate much more income compared to traditional methods.
Yeah, yeah. So please talk about your achievements over the last few years and how have you been able to change the lives of farmers in rural community?
Right. So towards the end of 2020, we've actually exceeded 700,000 users in our platform. And then we have won multiple awards in the region, notably one from Microsoft called the Microsoft Highway to 100 Unicorn Program, where they recognize regional startups that are transforming the lives of people, especially marginalized communities. So that's one, and then we were also one of the winners at ASEAN Korea Startup, where we competed against startups not just in Southeast Asia but also in Korea, and we came out as one of the winning ones. And the most recent one I would say would be the Value Chain VCPN award for Agritech in Asia. So they recognized our platform as the best information service platform in Asia, and that's actually one of the awards that we are very proud of.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So what are your top technology focus areas over the next couple of years?
So the top technology, of course, remains with our satellite services. We are planning to take it to the next level, right? So now, as I told you, farmers can know whether the things that they need to do based on the weather predictions from satellite, right? Next is to let farmers know how well he is doing in terms of his current farm progress by taking snapshots of his farm using satellite technology. So farmer at a given instance during his farming season, when he checks our app, he'll be able to see that the farm condition compared to last year, according to the satellite readings, it's better, it's lower, or it's on par, which actually tells them if they should be improving or if they should be doing something to correct their farming methods. So that's one of the technology that we hope to be able to introduce soon. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, we want to transition from not just providing information, but also other products and services that the farmers need. So what we see is that in the future, farmers will go out less and less, to spend a considerable amount of time and fuel costs looking for solutions in remote cities. Instead, anything that they need for farming, they should be able to get it from the app without leaving their farm.
Yeah. So one more question arises, Adrian, that what is the language you are using in the app? Is it English or your regional language of Myanmar?
So, of course, our app mostly caters to the Myanmar population. So the language that we use here in the app are almost entirely Burmese.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that makes it feasible for them to use the app.
Mm.
So what is your outlook on Agritech market, and what are your expansion plans?
Yeah, so Myanmar has still a lot of room to grow, and I think it will grow much more than where we are today. I say this because we have all the right ingredients for digital agriculture to succeed. As I mentioned earlier, Myanmar has very high internet and mobile penetration, very large farming population. About 70% of the population in the country is depending on the agri sector for their livelihood. So the technology that transforms their lives with respect to their livelihood, it's going to be going to have so much opportunity and potential. As for expansion plans, we do want to expand out of Myanmar. Of course, that requires partnerships or even JVs with other regional players who have similar interests, and we're looking at different partners for different countries. But of course, we ourselves will not be able to expand with what we have here. So any opportunity to work with other companies, entities, or VCs would be very much what we are looking for.
Sure, sure. So thank you, Adrian. It was a complete pleasure interacting with you, and appreciate your time. We got valuable insights today, and I'm sure it will be really informative and useful for aspiring technopreneurs like you.
Thank you,
Right.
Kalpana. It's really my pleasure to be on this platform.
Yeah, thank you. And we hope that you continue with your journey for changing the lives of the farmers and rural communities.
Thank you.
For more updates from CXO TV, please like and subscribe to our channel.